sutra, beautiful Narada Bhakti Sutra. Sa Tvasmin Para Prema Rupa. Let me give the translation. That verily is the nature of supreme love of God. He says, supreme love you have, if it is turned towards God, that is called bhakti. All of you have supreme love for what you think as you. If you think you are the body, you will have the supreme love for the body. If you think you are your identity, you will have the supreme love for that identity. Whatever you think as you will have supreme love for it. Directing that towards the consciousness which continuously excites you is bhakti. When I say God, do not think something somewhere in far. No. The energy which gives you constant excitement, inspiration is God. If you can direct your supreme love towards that consciousness, you are God. You are experiencing God. You are in the devotion. How to direct yourself to that super consciousness, to that intense, exciting energy? So yesterday I was telling you, just remember whatever is happening is auspicious. It may, sometime when you remember, you may think, what nonsensical idea it is. How can I believe whatever is happening is auspicious? But when you are in depression, when you are in really some trouble, if you remember this idea, suddenly you will see, yes, I think even this suffering which I am going through has some meaning for me. See, now your suffering is imaginary. You cannot conquer it. When you are really going through a, if you use this idea as an astra, using Shastra as a Sastra. Sastra means weapon. Shastra means knowledge, the truth. Use this Shastra, knowledge, as Sastra, weapon, to attack your suffering. Suddenly you will see, yes, this has got something to teach me. This is adding something to me. I am expanding. Yes, this has some meaning in my life. Understand? The same concept. Now I am saying whatever is happening is. Now it may not make big sense if you sit and imagine, if my close, near and dear one dies, will I be able to remember this concept and come out of that suffering? If you imagine now, you can't. Your mind will say, no, 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 I can't handle all those things. Don't imagine now. When really some suffering happens, when it is not imaginary, when it is real, use this weapon, use this idea. You will see it's working. It is working. Any idea which clicks during the real suffering and relieves you from the suffering, this idea is initiation. Understand? You received some idea from a master and it really clicks when you are facing a suffering. No initiation will click through imagination. That's an important thing you need to understand. If you are sitting now itself and thinking, if a landslide happens, I am caught in that, how can that be auspicious? It's imaginary. You can't answer. But when it is happening, this very idea start use. You will see everything is teaching. And I tell you, even death, when it is happening, just bring this idea to your being. Yes, it must be doing something good to me. You will see you will realize the truth that you are expanding. You are just developing yourself. You are updating yourself. See, this body has become old, tired, and this mind also a lot of guilt. The unforgettable sufferings have become too much. The miseries and sufferings which you can't forget has become too much. So naturally you decide, let me throw this away and get new system. Let me get a new hardware and new software to start working. See, your hardware also become tired by using damal here, there. And software also become full of virus. Your guilt, the sufferings and miseries which you are not able to forget, completely disturbed. Then what to do? What to do? You throw the whole thing, decide to get a new body. Understand, this knowledge, this experience will land only when you face the suffering and use this knowledge. Not when you are sitting and imagining. If you are sitting now and imagining, if I die, and then if I remember this is also good for me, will I be able to face the death? Your mind will start asking, no, who knows, I'm going to come back. Who knows, I'm going to get better body. Who knows? It will create only more and more imagination, because problem itself is imagination. Solution cannot come. Any solution comes, your mind will create only more and more imaginary problems. Initiation means the Shastra which is given to you, which clicks and liberates you during the real suffering. This is initiation. This is what we call Diksha. Every thought, any knowledge, any truth which comes up and liberates you during the real suffering is a bridge which is bridge to take you to the conscious state. See, before the suffering, you can't solve it. During the suffering, when you use this weapon, suddenly you see you have solved it. Means you are again back in the inspired energy. The suffering has disappeared. The depression has disappeared. You are in the conscious state. You are free. You are liberated. You are in the mood of celebration. Means this knowledge, this Shastra connects you back to your source. Having enough of weapons to attack the depression and ability to get back to the conscious state is the path for bhakti. I think I am making too many long statements. Understand? But I am giving you the sharp, straight definitions. I'll just take 2 minutes for this Tamil fellows to explain. நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. இப்ப சொன்னதோட சாரத்தை சொல்றேன். தமிழ்ல சொல்ல மாட்டேன்னு சொன்ன, இருந்தாலும் மனசு கேட்கல, அதனால சொல்லிடுறேன். ரொம்ப ஒரு அருமையான முக்கியமான சத்தியம். அதனால இதை மட்டும் புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. எப்பப்பெல்லாம் துக்கம் வருதோ அப்பெல்லாம் ஞானியினுடைய வார்த்தைகள் சாஸ்திரம், அத சஸ்திரம் அம்பு மாதிரி உபயோகம் பண்ணி உங்களுடைய துக்கத்திலிருந்து உங்களால வெளியில வர முடிஞ்சதுன்னா அதுதான் தீட்சைன்னு சொல்றேன். எந்தெந்த வார்த்தைகளை உபயோகம் பண்ணி உங்களுடைய துக்கத்திலிருந்து உங்களால வெளியில வர முடியுதோ அந்தந்த வார்த்தைகள் எல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு தீட்சையாக அளிக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. ஒரு சின்ன உதாரணத்தை சொல்லலாம். சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன், நடக்கிறது எல்லாம் நல்லது அப்படின்னு. இப்பவே உட்கார்ந்து அட மண்ணு சரிஞ்சு விழுந்து நான் செத்து போனா அது நல்லதுன்னு எப்படி சாமி சொல்ல முடியும் அப்படின்னு யோசிச்சீங்கன்னா மனசால அதை உணர முடியாது. ஆனா ஒரு துக்கம் வரும்பொழுது, உண்மையிலேயே வரும்பொழுது இந்த உணர்வை மேல எடுத்து வந்தீங்கன்னா பளிச்சு அந்த துக்கம் உடையும், காணாம போயிடும். அப்ப துக்கம் இல்லாத ஆனந்த நிலைக்கு திரும்ப வந்துருவீங்க, உணர்வு நிலைக்கு, கான்சியஸ்னஸ். உங்களுடைய உயர்ந்த கான்சியஸ்னஸ் உங்களை திருப்பி எடுத்துட்டு வர்ற வார்த்தைகளுக்கு தான் தீட்சைன்னு பேரு. இந்த வார்த்தைகள் தான், இந்த ஞானம் தான் உங்களை கடவுளை நோக்கி எடுத்துட்டு போற பக்திக்கான பிரிட்ஜ். பக்தினா வேற ஒண்ணும் இல்லை, திரும்ப திரும்ப சரியான வார்த்தைகள், குருவிடமிருந்து பெறப்பட்ட சரியான தீட்சை வார்த்தைகளை உபயோகித்து உங்களை துக்கத்தில் ஆழாமல் மீண்டும் மீட்டெடுத்துக் கொள்ளுதல், அதான் பக்தி. அந்த மீட்டெடுத்த நிலையிலேயே மீட்டெடுத்துட்டு ஆனந்தமா வாழறோம் இல்லையா, அதான் பக்தி. அப்ப என்ன வேணும்னா, குருவோட வார்த்தைகள் சின்ன சாதாரணமான வார்த்தையினால அபரிமிதமான மரியாதை அந்த வார்த்தை மேல. ஏன்னா எந்த வார்த்தை உங்களை எந்த நேரத்துல மேல தூக்குன்னு உங்களுக்கே தெரியாது. கேட்கிற எந்த வார்த்தையும் உள்ள வாங்குறது, கேட்கிற எந்த வார்த்தையும் மதிக்கிறது. ராமகிருஷ்ணன் ரொம்ப அழகா சொல்றாரு, ஒரு சிஷ்யர்கிட்ட ஒரு டப்பா, தகர டப்பாவில பணத்தை போட்டு கொடுத்து அந்த மூலையில வச்சிருப்பான்னு சொல்றாரு. அந்த மூலையில ஜன்னல் இருந்தது. அந்த ஜன்னல் வழியா யாராவது எடுத்துட்டு போனாலும் எடுத்துட்டு போயிடுவான்னு அவர் அந்த சிஷ்யர் என்ன பண்றாரு, அந்த மூலையில வைக்காம ஜன்னல் இல்லாத மூலையில வைக்கிறாரு. உடனே அவர் சொல்றாரு, நீ உருப்பட மாட்டான், நீ ஞானம் அடைய மாட்டான்னு சொல்லிடுறாரு. புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க, அந்த சிஷ்யன் என்ன பண்ணா, நல்லதுக்கு தான் யோசிச்சான். ஆனா ராமகிருஷ்ணன் சொல்றாரு, அப்பனே உனக்கு நல்லது எது கெட்டது எதுன்னு உன் லாஜிக்கு தெரியறது சத்தியம் கிடையாது. உருப்படணும்னு நினைச்சினா மாஸ்டரோட வார்த்தை அப்படியே உள்ள போச்சுன்னா தான் உருப்பட முடியும், இல்லைன்னா ஒண்ணும் பண்ண முடியாது. ஏன்னா எந்த நேரத்துல எந்த வார்த்தை உங்களை மேல தூக்கணும் உங்களுக்கு சொல்ல முடியாது. கூட்ட பிடிக்காதன்னா அப்புறம் பிடிச்சா என்ன அர்த்தம், குரு டிசைபிள் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் இல்ல அங்க. புரியுதுங்களா? குரு டிசைபிள் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் அங்க இல்ல. அப்ப என்ன இருக்குது, சும்மா ஒரு மேம்போக்குத்தனமான இந்த ரசிகர் மன்றம், ரசிகர் மன்றது கேசுங்கெல்லாம் உருப்படாதுங்க. உருப்படாது மட்டும் இல்ல, நமக்கு தலைவலி எதுங்கெல்லாம். இங்க நான் ரசிகர் மன்றம் நடத்தல, நல்லா தெரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. என்ன நடத்திட்டு இருக்கேன், ஆசிரமம் நடத்திட்டு இருக்கேன். I added 2-3 points there. I'll translate that in English now. Because it is such a, actually this one idea can transform you completely. That's why I translated and told in English, in Tamil. See, Ramakrishna says, which initiation will click at what time and lift you, you don't know. So any word which comes out of the master's being should be heard, meditated and internalized as it is. That is why they say enlightened consciousness, whatever word comes out is mantra, even if it comes out with grammatical mistakes. All these Upanishads, if you read, you will see so many grammatical errors and mistakes in Sanskrit, but they are never corrected. Even if you listen my English, somehow I am managing. The problem is, what they are speaking can't be spoken by words. Logic is too poor, too small. See, can you describe this experience after going back? You can't. You can use few words. Oh, 360 degree there was hills, and there was the falls, and Swami was sitting on the cart. But this can't add everything. This can't put everything together. There is something more than that. This cozy feeling, this intimate feeling. This intimate feeling you will never get in lecture halls. In lecture halls, especially in US lecture halls, which is completely air conditioned and nothing wrong can happen. Now, that is the problem. See, intimacy will happen only when there are survival threats. Now, really, I tell you. See, if there is some landslide and we can't go anywhere, we all have to stay one night, and there is no hotel also. Our intimacy will become totally different. There we are there just for each other. That is why always they say the master disciples, they should stay in forests. Means completely dependent on each other. There is nothing else, nobody else, just completely dependent on each other. We should be just lost in some of these forests. No light, no power, Nothing, only little food, maybe for survival. Then I will also teach whatever I know. You have to learn whatever I tell you. See, and moreover, when that kind of infrastructure is there, I have nothing to gain from you. So whatever I say is truth. You have no reason to suspect me. See, if we are all in comfortable infrastructure, you have all reasons to suspect me. I may be teaching for my own ends. But when there is no infrastructure and there is nothing, you know very clearly what I am saying is a straight truth. Because I have nothing to get from you. I have nothing to get from you. Your money cannot add anything to me. And nothing can be added. So when that clarity is there, that level of trust is totally different. Level of trust is totally different. That is why these great truths are delivered in the forest, where disciple does not need to enrich the master, and master does not need to enrich the disciple in the outer world. That is why the trust was so deep, the both sides, they were able to enrich each other in the inner world. Completely internalizing as it is. As I was telling you, you can't describe this scene. What will you describe? You can't describe. Words are too poor. That's why we call Arsha Prayoga. Understand? Arsha Prayoga means you can't even call the mistakes made by rishis as a mistake. It's called Arsha Prayoga. Their expression. We are nobody to judge. It is as a, we can't even say it is a mistake, but we don't correct, we tolerate it. No. You have no right even to say it's a mistake. It is the expression of a rishi. The expression of a rishi. Because what I am trying to tell is impossible to tell. Impossible to talk. But I am trying to tell whatever way I can, whatever language you can understand. That is where all these problems starts. Anyhow, all the words which is staying in you, which starts working whenever it is needed and brings you out of your supreme love for body and your identity, and turns that same love towards your pure inner consciousness, is bhakti. All those thoughts are bridge to bhakti. Understand? You not staying in depression is a basic necessity for your bhakti. Many people come and tell me, I have so much bhakti for God, but I am always punished and depressed. It's pure cheating. A bhakta can never suffer. Person who is suffering can never be a bhakta. First, you see the definition of bhakti. What Narada says, Sa Tvasmin Para Prema Rupa. That verily is of the nature of supreme love of God. Understand? You will suffer only if your supreme love is directed towards your body or towards your identity. You cannot suffer if it is directed towards your pure inner space or consciousness, which is God. So if you are suffering, never say you have bhakti. You are just cheating. You are just cheating. How to? Then always be in that bliss. Then have initiation. Initiation means listening to the teachings of the master, which will elevate you, liberate you instantaneously. Whenever the real suffering starts happening, it will just open up. It's like a pop-up actually. It will just pop up and break the suffering. Suddenly you will see you are back to that your original consciousness. For example, I can give you some of the strong initiation ideas now. During sannyas, you are asked to just go into the death. See, let me give you some of these few strong clicks, strong initiations. Then you'll understand what I mean by the word initiation and how it can lead to real bhakti. During sannyas, you are asked to go through your own death, because death is the one thing which is the most certain thing for which you are not prepared. You are prepared for everything. You are prepared for your old age. You are prepared for this. You are prepared for that. You are even prepared for your cremation expenses. Especially in America. In America, coffins for sale. No, really, one day she was telling me, he got a call early morning, and they were asking, "Sir, now we are really giving for a sale your cremation prices." In India, nobody can ask this. They will cremate the person who has. See, you are prepared even for that. Cremation, coffin, and I heard that the important lots are available. Huh? View lots. As if these fellows can lie down and there and see everything. What kind of nonsense is going on? And $5,000. In India, even when we live, we don't spend $5,000 to build a house. What about dying? Anyhow, we are prepared even for that, but we are not prepared to face the death experience itself. We are always afraid, and we don't even want to think. So all the people who want to take sannyas, they are asked to go through that experience. That becomes a big click once you go through that experience. After that, whenever you remember, I am already dead, what is there? Any suffering, this one memory, I am already dead, what is there to bother? Suddenly you will see that suffering will disappear, that will not have any place. If you go through even once that death experience, there is nothing which can give you suffering. You will feel, whatever days I am now living is a bonus already. Already it is a free gift extension. Then what is there to suffer? And there are few more initiations done. Every part of the body will be offered to the master in the fire. They will take the small piece of grass and connect with that body with the mantras and offer that grass into the fire. Means offering to the master. It is offered to the master. Every part surrendering. Whenever you have a problem, just remember, that is already his. If you want, let him run, otherwise it's okay. Suddenly you will see the suffering won't be there. Suffering will not be there. Like these strong ideas which is inserted into you as an experience by the master, which comes up during suffering and liberates you from the suffering, takes you back to the pure conscious state. These techniques, these clicks are only called as initiation. Blessed are those who had initiations from the master. See, whenever I am sitting and talking, suddenly some idea will click. Hey, this is what I was thinking. Your eyes will just open. Your eyes will just expand. This is what I was thinking. So right, so clearly expressed. Then initiation has happened. If you are suddenly sitting straight, the Kundalini is rising. The initiation is happening. Means that idea, that truth, that Shastra will become Shastra now for you. That idea will start now residing in you. Whenever you get this kind of Shastras, catch it. Let it be in your heart for future. This is the real life insurance. The real life insurance is the Shastra, initiations which you get from the master, not anything else. All other life insurance is death insurance. After your death, your family will get, who are waiting for it. So that is not real life insurance. Real life insurance is the real initiation. When Narada says supreme love of God is bhakti, he means the supreme love. See, now all of you have supreme love. It's not that you don't have. You have. You have love for what you think as you. If you think you are the body, you have love for that. You are constantly running behind. You are constantly running just to create excitement in that 5 points. The point where you see, point where you smell, point where you hear, point where you taste, and point where you have the pleasure, genital organ. This 5 point, to create pleasure for that excitement for that 5 point, you are running around because you think you are the body. You have a supreme love for it. If you think you are mind, you are your identity, you will be running behind for name and fame, award, medal, or do you know who am I? That visiting card, that foolishness. You will be running behind for that. Only when you realize you are something more than this body and mind, this body and identity, your love towards your consciousness will start happening. The supreme love which you have now for your body and your identity will turn to the inner consciousness, will turn towards the pure inner space, thoughtless space. Anything which turns you towards that thoughtless space, the liberated feeling, joy, ecstasy, is initiation. Sometimes it can happen even from ordinary incidents of the life. One more important thing. When you sit with a living master, I can give you initiation. Understand? Now I am stepping into one more important key point. If you can just sit straight little. Initiation means receiving all these strong truths which will liberate you during suffering or disturbances. This is what we call Shravana, listening, getting initiated. Next thing comes Manana, remembering and using. Remembering and using. Remembering and using means you need to have situations where you will remember masters initiations and use it. If if it is only a devotee relationship, devotee means guys who come here, they use me for their benefit. If it is a devotee relationship, I am here just to enrich them as they want themselves. I can give only initiation. I cannot create the situations in which you will remember these words and practice. But if you are a disciple, committed, if I know for sure you will not run away, I will create a situations also where you have to remember these initiations and practice it. But for that, a deeper level trust is necessary between master and disciple. As long as I don't trust you, means as long as I think there is a possibility that you will run away, I will never create suffering for you. I will never create suffering. Only when I see you are ready, now you will stay with me, I will start create suffering for you. Means where you have to bring the initiation to consciousness and use this weapon to get you back to the enlightenment, to get you to the superconscious state. Because the situation to use these weapons has to be created. But now the society has become such, master is diversible. The relationship between you and me, it is no more a commitment. As long as I don't touch your ego, everything goes well, okay, nice, I think this guy can do something to me. Cool, this guy seems to be very funny. I think I can be around him. He can add something to me. But the moment I put my hand on your pus, your huge tumor which you carry on your head or heart, the moment I put my hand on that, what will happen? I think this fellow is too arrogant. This fellow is too arrogant. This fellow is not going to do it. I think, this and all is not for me. Then, those days, the master-disciple relationship is non-diversible. Not even in this Janma, not even in one Janma, even for Janmas after Janmas you can't escape. See the commitment, see, Vedic tradition, during any initiation, you commit in front of fire. During marriage, you commit till this fire is inside our body. We will follow the 7 vows we are taking. Means till death. But when master-disciple relationship happens, master says, even this energy which is residing in this body leaves this body. This will continue to guide you till you achieve the same state in which this body is this being is residing. Understand? It is non-diversible even for janmas. For births, after births, you can't divorce the master. If the relationship was so deep, then I don't need to send you to Parivarajaka. I'll create enough situations where you have to bring all these teachings and use and achieve the superconscious state. Because the relationship is not so deep, modern society, I don't have any more words. That is the reason I emphasize you guys do the Parivarajaka, wandering, travel, study on your own, so that the life will create situations where you can't blame me. You have to use all that initiation which you received from me to bring you out of the suffering and raise you to superconscious state. All of you are clear? If you have any question, you see, this is a very strong idea. Even if you understand this one idea, the whole 15 days trip is worthy. You have got what you need to get. You got more than the 15 days worthy material. So let us internalize this one idea. I don't want to speak anything more today. Any question you have on this idea, write it and give me, I'll answer. Because I don't want any of you to go without this prasada. Without this prasada. Prasada means offered food, or the food tasted by God or the master. That is called prasada. You see, this is the greatest thing I tasted in my life. Enlightenment. That I am giving you now. Let you not go away without this prasada. So whatever idea, now yesterday and today I spoke on this idea in a detailed, very lengthy way. Anything you have not understood, you don't have to bother, just put it in writing and give. Let us churn this one idea. Let us work on this one idea today. Maybe tomorrow I will go to the next sutras. Come on. How does the devotee to disciple transformation happens? I am hungry for it. You already achieved it. The very mood, you are hungry for it. You achieved it. Anybody who sincerely feels the devotee disciple transition should happen in me. You have done it. See, I am like a ocean, continuously available. Only your feeling that you need is necessary. When you have that, you have done it. So, you don't even have to now worry about what should I do. No, the very desire, very feeling is enough. Now, naturally, the problem is one important thing. The problem is do not enter into the territory of the disciple without knowing the plus and minus of it. When you enter into the territory of the disciple, one nice thing, guaranteed enlightenment. See, for devotees, I am guaranteed solution. For disciples, I am guaranteed enlightenment. Guaranteed enlightenment. But what you are supposed to learn in 200 births, you will learn in 2 years. Means the intensity of joy, the intensity of suffering, both will be very strong. You should be ready for it. My one smile will put you in heaven. It will be so intense, so juicy. Same way, my teaching also will not be roundabout way. Straight away I'll tell. I want to wander on my own after this yatra. Why are there no women sadhus? Can women wander to practice this bridge to love of consciousness? One thing, why no women sadhus? Because enlightenment is easy for women. Falling in tune with the master is easy for women. Always these guys become enlightened just by falling in tune with the master. The male mind only cannot bend and surrender. That is why they need to go through all this suffering. Female mind, when straight away can bend and surrender, connect either to living master or to God. Meera never saw Krishna, but she lived with him. The time gap between Meera and Krishna is 8,800 years. Understand? 8,800 years. Time gap between Meera and Krishna. But she lived with him. Just because she is having that feminine being, the feminine mind. So the women, the feminine setup system does not necessarily need wandering. But now you guys may be in the women body, but you are no more women. Because of the perverted modern society. You guys have lost that feminine, that falling in tune. Maybe I'll personally advise you to develop that falling in tune with the master. Then taking up the wandering sadhu life. But if you decide, then nobody can stop, that is different. But because of some practical difficulties, I always tell women not to go for parivrajaka. Does one have to wander the Himalayas to work on the suffering? How about hiking in any wilderness? Hiking in any wilderness is perfectly alright, nothing wrong. It is, but Himalayas has got one plus, the energy field. So even if you don't remember, you will be reminded. See, it's answer only for you I am giving, because I can trust you. You will understand. Here, a lot of these enlightened beings without body are wandering around. So whenever they see you are a sincere person struggling, they will straight away appear in front of you and take care of you, help you. But in the hiking, it won't be. Any wilderness, it won't be there. See, I myself, when I fell in the deep, low moods or depression, I had the great opportunity of seeing this. Some of the masters, even Mahavatar Babaji, I had the darshan of Mahavatar Babaji in Gauri Kund, in Himalayas only. Maybe in 3 days we will be going to that place. When we go there, I'll tell you where I had his darshan. That time I'll tell you where I had darshan. So these guys, these enlightened beings who are not in the body, their frequency is available in this area. That's why I always say Himalayas. But otherwise, there is no agency which is supporting me, which is funding me to promote Himalayas. I am not funded by any agency to promote Himalayas. Unfortunately, there is no such agency. That's a beauty. There's a Tamil question. I'll translate into English. First, I'll read in Tamil. Swamiji, நான் உங்களை பார்க்கும் முன் என்எஸ்பி பிஎஸ்பி என்ன செய்யும் முன் என்னால் எதையும் சுலபமாக மறக்க முடியாது. ஏதாவது துன்பத்திலிருந்து துன்பத்திலே இருந்தது. ஆனால் இப்பொழுதுதான் என்னால் புரிந்து கொள்ள முடிகிறது. இப்பொழுது எவ்வளவு பிரச்சனை வந்தாலும் அதை சுலபமாக எதிர்நோக்க முடிகிறது. இதற்கான காரணம் இவை அனைத்தும் உங்கள் செயல். இது இப்போது நான் நன்றாக புரிந்து கொண்டேன். She saying before she did NSP and BSP. NSP is Nityananda Spurana program. BSP is Bhakti Spurana program. She says she can't come out of her depression or suffering. Now she says, whatever problem comes, I know suddenly I'm out of the problem. I can face anything. Now I understand how I am able to do this. Means so much of initiation has happened in that 448 days. So much of initiation has happened. That is why it just pop up. You are programmed to Nityananda pop up. That's why you are able to handle. Understand, Ramakrishna says beautifully. He was doing some kind of a practices. He's a great tantric. Practices with Bhairavi Brahmani. When he was doing that, he was so devoted to Bhairavi Brahmani, he will not disobey a single word. But when Totaburi came, Totaburi is a Vedanti, enlightened being. When he started practicing under Totaburi, Bhairavi Brahmani said, don't go to him. He said, no, forget about it. He never disrespected her. He had his love for her, but never bothered to go further. So understand, there is no such thing as a guru conflict. As far as me concerned, I always tell people, at least for all the people who think I am your guru, I tell you, wherever you can, go and learn. Whatever you can. Pluck flowers from all garden and make a beautiful garland for you. I am here to enrich you, not to possess you. If you can learn anything anywhere, you are free to do. You have full freedom to go around and learn. One important thing, whoever needs to guide you at whatever time, your heart will simply fall in tune with that person at that time. For example, at one level, you may be feeling connected to one kind of acharya. At one level, suddenly you feel connected to a different level master. There is nothing wrong. Perfectly alright. Just carry on. Your heart is powerful enough, capable enough to guide you to the different higher and higher level masters. Nothing wrong. So there is no such thing as guru disciple, the guru conflict. I have a story for this guy who wrote this question. There was a advertisement in the local newspaper. We need a manager who can read and write French. One guy applied. I can write, but I can't read. But the employer became very curious. He wanted to see him. He called him for interview and said, please write. That guy wrote and then gave it to the employer. He read, he saw and said, God, you yourself please read and tell. He said, I told you, I can only write. I can't read. I can't read. So this questioner also, he can only write. I can't read. This joke is dedicated to this questioner. I am curious to know if I was your disciple in previous Janma also. Just try to be disciple in this Janma. If you have been my disciple in previous Janma also, and still you have not become enlightened means you must have been worst idiot. You must have been idiot eating my head in my past life. So better do not wish that you should have been a disciple in the last Janma. Even in this Janma, if you are around me for so many years and for some 3-4 years and you will not become enlightened means you are a headache for me. Either you become part of a solution or you are the problem. Either you get enlightened or you will be the problem for others not to get enlightened. So, I don't know who put the question. Why does one need to suffer to achieve enlightenment? No, 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 no. Suffering is not necessary. Suffering is not at all necessary. But your foolish mind does not reside in the superconscious state all the time. So suffering just reminds you, hey, still you have not become enlightened, go up. Can't bliss bring about enlightenment? It can bring about enlightenment, but you are not so intelligent to achieve enlightenment through bliss. You are not so intelligent to achieve enlightenment through bliss. That's what you see. Living with the master is from bliss to bliss. Bliss is the goal and the path, but you are not that mature. Naturally, what will you do? You will bring suffering. That's all. Swamiji, I feel that I am sitting on the fence. Don't sit on it. If you fall, you will break your head. I could fall 100% into your heart or return to my former life. What is keeping me from falling is fear. I project all kinds of reasons. I feel rejected. If you ignore me, I want to fall. Somehow I am looking for encouragement or specific invitation what to do. I will neither encourage nor invite you. If you are expecting my invitation or my courage means you want my attention. You will eat my head even after coming inside. Return to your former life as early as possible. If you can fall without asking special invitation from me or my attention, you are qualified to fall. Fall now. If you ask for special invitation or some encouragement, just run away as early as possible, so that I'll feel free. I'll be liberated. I don't want even ask who put the question. I don't want to ask. If we really trust in existence, will existence provide the opportunities to apply the initiations? It will provide the opportunity. If you really trust existence, then why don't you take up the wandering? Why don't you take up the Parivrajaka life? It's a very cunning game. See, I trust the existence, but it's sitting inside my house, inside my air condition, inside my car. And this is a very funny game. Understand? You are not trusting. You are just playing with the word, cheating yourself, not anybody else. Will this happen in ordinary life as well? If we don't have opportunities for being in the wilds, is trusting in existence enough for trusting existence to trust in us? Your trust is not so deep, then naturally you will not be trusted. Who put this question? It's very superficial. No, I'm not. I don't want you to ask any proposed hypothetical question. Ask straight your problem. I can answer. Is it your problem? Huh? Hmm. There is no question of how to be if you trust. No technique. The moment you ask how to be, you are going to only trust the technique, not the existence. The women do the wandering on their own. Those days they used to do, not now. What do you mean by diversing? Means you can, whenever you feel you are not given enough attention or you are disrespected, you will straight away throw the mala away and go away. That's what I call diverse. Sometimes I am afraid even to tell the truth as it is, because you don't know what these guys will. Of course, I don't bother if you go away also. Who cares? But what to do? This foolish guys are. I just feel that let me not hurt these guys. That's all. When they are not mature. That's all. How to be committed in any relationship? First, learn how to be committed in marriage. Then you will understand how to be committed with guru disciple relationship. The society which cannot live with a marriage commitment, very difficult for them to understand the guru disciple relationship commitment. It's very difficult. The problem is the same. The problem is the same. The individualistic, perverted, not thinking as a team or for others or with an open being. The seeker feels the click with the master. Does the master always take on the seeker? Yes. If you have felt the click, already I am there inside you. Unless I decide to enter inside you, you can't even have the click. The moment you have the click, be very clear, I am inside you. I have decided to go into you. How does one distinguish, or is there no difference between life experience and experience you sent our way? I welcome hunger for them. How does one distinguish, or is there is no difference between life experience and experience you send our way? See, there is no difference between life experience and my experience, the experience which I send on the way. One thing you can see, anything which is sent by the master, even to handle, you won't have suffering. Even to handle will be like you will have the adventurous spirit. That is the scale. You can find that this is sent by master, not by the life. There's one more Tamil question. I'll read and then answer. குருவிற்கும் பக்தனுக்கும் ஜென்ம ஜென்மமாக உறவு தொடர்கிறது என்றால் ஏன் கடந்த 30 வருடங்களாக உங்களை என்னால் கண்டறிய முடியாமல் தட்டு தடுமாறி தற்போது உங்களிடம் வந்து சேர்ந்துள்ளேன். நீங்கள் ஜென்ம ஜென்மாமா என்ற வார்த்தை சொன்னவுடனேயே கண்களில் நீர் ஓடுகிறது. உள்ளே மிகப்பெரிய கொந்தளிப்பு ஏற்படுகிறது. ஏன்? See, he's asking a question. If you are telling guru disciple relationship is janmas after janmas, births after births, then why did I waste 30 years and now only came to you? And the moment you said that this relationship is births after births, my eyes are filled with water, it's flowing, and my whole being is just excited, intensely filled. Understand? Means you are my disciple. You are searching for janmas after janmas. This 30 years you are made to wait because I am only 30. It is just a practical problem, not any spiritual problem. நீங்க டிசைபிள் தான் அப்படின்னு சொன்ன, நீங்க டிசைபிள் தான். ஏன் 30 வருஷம் லேட் ஆச்சுன்னா என் வயசே 30 தான். அதனால தான் பிராக்டிக்கல் ப்ராப்ளம், ஸ்பிரிச்சுவல் ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை. நான் ஏன் இவ்வளவு லேட் ஆகுதுன்னு கேட்காதீங்க. நான் என்ன பண்றது, சரியான உடம்பு கிடைக்கணும், அப்பா அம்மா கிடைக்கணும், கரெக்டா சூஸ் பண்ணி வந்த பாருங்க. தொந்தரவு பண்ணாத அப்பா அம்மா, தொந்தரவு பண்ணாத அம்மா, தொந்தரவு பண்ணாத ஃபேமிலி, அது மாதிரி சூஸ் பண்ணி வந்த பாருங்க. அது கிடைக்கிறது ரொம்ப நாள் ஆயிடுச்சு. சனியம் பிடிச்சதுங்க. பல பொம்பளைங்க எரும மாடுங்க வந்து உங்களை மாதிரி பையன் எனக்கு பிறந்திருந்தா இவ்வளவு நல்லா இருந்திருக்குங்க. ஆனா அதுங்களுக்கு பிறந்ததுனா தெரியும் என்ன பாடுபட்டிருக்கோம் அந்த சனியனுங்க. உண்மையிலேயே அதனாலதான் சூஸ் பண்ணி பிறந்தேன். இதுங்க வாய் கிழியுமே தவிர பிறந்ததுனா என்ன சாவடிச்சு விட்டுருவோம். எந்த அம்மா பையன் எங்கேயோ போறான்னு சொல்லும்போது சரி நான் போக வேண்டான்னு சொல்ல முடியாது சாமி, எனக்கு தாங்கல அதனால அழுவுறேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு சும்மா இருக்க முடியும்? சொல்லுங்க. போகாதனான்னு ஒரு வார்த்தை சொல்லலை, போகாதன்னு ஒரு வார்த்தை சொல்லவே இல்லை. சாமி சொல்றது நாங்க என்ன பண்ணோம், நாங்க குறுக்கள் நிக்க முடியுமா? செய்யட்டும் அப்படின்னு தான் சொன்னாங்க. அதனாலதான் சூஸ் பண்ணி பிறந்தேன். இவங்க சும்மாவே அடுத்த சரி அவங்க பையன் சாமியாரை போட்டு கேட்கட்டும், அப்புறம் தெரியும் நான் பிறந்தேன்னா என்ன ஆயிருக்கும் அப்படின்னு. ಎಲ್ಲ ಏಮಾತ. When you say that you would create suffering for one you trust as your disciple, do you mean that suffering is necessary for spiritual evolution? See, when I say the word suffering, I don't mean that ordinary suffering. I mean, I'll create situations where you need to use the initiations, which you may call it as suffering or you may call it as adventure. This Himalayas, because you came voluntarily, it is an adventure. If you are forced to be here, it may be suffering for you. If you have taken up voluntarily, it's adventure. Otherwise, suffering. What kind of suffering? If you ask and all, I won't tell. Because whatever you know will never be a suffering. Anything which is unknown to you only will be a suffering. And why is that? So with humans and human nature. That I don't know. Only you have to find out. Who Dhyanavati. Understood? Huh? Okay. So more questions. You said it so well, Swamiji. Thank you for your compliment. I learned some from Swamiji. I learned some from one Swamiji. And you are my other master who taught me at a higher level. You both are my two eyes. Wonderful. That's nice. Never have conflict. Never have Guru conflict. Without Guru conflict, if you live, that's enough. Both of us will enrich you. If you have Guru conflict, both of us will not be able to enrich you. So just live without Guru conflict. Both of us will add you whatever you need to learn and whatever needed to be added to you. The truth is you becoming more and more blissful. That's all. That is the final result. For those who want to become your disciple at very young age, why may not have much chance to go through suffering? Who said they may not have much chance to go through suffering? How they can experience supreme consciousness, super consciousness? Who put the question? Okay. Come and try to live around in my ashram, then you will understand. Huh? No. I create enough situations for them. The only thoughts I mostly have left are all your teachings, correcting my mind, like you are talking in my head. I feel stuck at this level. After I am corrected, then what to do? How to move past this point? Don't bother. This very initiation is so powerful, it will burn all other sufferings and it will burn itself. See, initiation is such. In India, they will burn the dead bodies. They will use a bamboo stick to burn the body, and finally they will throw that bamboo also in the same fire. Initiation is like that. It will be used to burn all your sufferings. Finally, that initiation itself will be burnt in that same fire. So you don't have to worry about how to go beyond. Will the disciple come to know that his suffering is created by his master, and hence take it as a prasadam? Yes, he will come to know very clearly. That's what it will be like adventure. Swami, after the disciple gets enlightened, does the guru-disciple relationship continues? It continues much more deeper way, in a much more beautiful way, much more blissful way. It's no more two different things. It is just feeling connected. It is just feeling connected, very deep feeling. You want to ask my enlightened disciples. I have enlightened disciples. Do not think that I am only talking. I have done my job. I have enlightened disciples. Naturally, I won't tell the name. Just go and live around my close disciples. If you live and be around them, you will smell. You will smell who is enlightened, and you will learn from them. And you can ask them how their relationship with me is. Somebody asked me the other day, have you given enlightenment to any of your disciples? I did not feel that fellow is worthy enough of receiving the answer. That's why I just avoided and went away. Now I answer you guys, yes, I have done my job. So, If you want, go around and live near my close disciples. And they are also given a strong, clear instruction. They won't declare. They will never tell by words, but they can just radiate the presence. My presence. You will see that, you experience that. Through that experience, if when you smell them, then they may open and share what happened inside them. There, before Nityananda and after Nityananda. AN, BN. BN, AN, they will share. When you first entered in the Delhi gathering, automatically I started crying, and then no words came out. Is it one kind of bhakti? Yes, Ramakrishna says, whenever, if your eyes are filled, if you are overflowing, when you see or remember God or Guru's name, this is last birth for you. So, that's also surely a kind of a bhakti. But the fools think that this is too much emotional, and that is not the true bhakti. Understand? Fools are those who can't be filled by the Master's presence or the divine presence. If you are filled, overflowing, only one thing, keep away from the idiot intellectuals. Keep yourself safe from the so-called intellectuals who will advise you. Just escape from them. Whenever you see them, understand you are seeing Rakshasas and run away. That's all. Any other questions? See, like this, I'll take up one idea. We will churn on that idea, so that everybody has internalized that one thing before we go to the next step. Thank you. Be blissful.